Good morning. My name is Gaurav Singh Rathod. My roll number is 2095181223. Today we are going to discuss the topic aspects of internet security. The subject is computer networks. The subject code is AIT C06. So what is internet security? Internet security is a term that describes security for activities and transactions made over the internet. So it is a particular component of a large ideas of cybersecurity and computer security involving topics like browsing security, online behavior, and network security. We spend a large portion of our lives in online, and some of the internet security threats we are occur are hacking, where unauthorized users gain access to a computer system, mail accounts, or websites. Viruses or malicious softwares can damage data or make systems vulnerable to other threats. Identity theft, where criminals can steal personal and financial information. Individuals and organizations can protect themselves from these kind of threats and practices the internet security. So, what are the most common internet security threats? Phishing. In phishing is a cyber attack involving disguised emails. Hackers try to track email receptions into believing that a message is genuine and relevant. So a request from their blank or note from a coworker, for example, uh, so that we can click or link or open an attachment. The goal is to deceive people into handing over their personal information or downloading malware. Phishing is the oldest internet security threat dated from 90s, so it has remained popular to this day since it is only the cheapest and easiest way for criminals to steal information. In recent years, phishing techniques and messages have become increasingly sophisticated. So, hacking and remote access. In hackers are always looking to exploit a private network or a system vulnerability so that can steal confidential information and data. Removing access technologies give them another target to exploit. Remote access software allows users to access and control a computer remotely since the pandemic. Malware and malwareism. So malware is a prominity of malicious and software. It is broad term related to virus, worms, trojans, and other harmful programs that hackers use to cause havoc and steal sensitive information. Any software intended to damage a computer server or a network can be described as a malware. So the term refers to as in online advertising which distributes malware. Online advertisements is a complex ecosystem involving publishers, websites, and exchanges and serves retargeting networks and contents. Delivering network malware exploits these complexity to place malicious codes in place that publishers and ad networks don't always detect. Internet users who interact with a malicious ad could download malware onto their devices by redirecting. Ransomware. Ransomware is a type of malware that prevents you from using your computer or access to specific files from a computer unless a ransom is paid. It is often distributed as a Trojan, that is malware discussed, or as legitimate software. Because of their perceived anatomy, ransomware operations typically specifies payments in cryptocurrencies such as bitcoins. Bonnets. Bonnets is a contradiction of robot network. A bonnet is a network of computer that has intentionally infected by malware so that they can carry out automated tasks on an internet without the permission or knowledge of the computer. Once the bonnet owner controls your computer, then you use it to carry out malicious activities. These includes generating fake internet traffics or third-party websites, using your machine power to assist in distributed denial of service attack, or committing frauds, attacking computers and servers. Wi-Fi threats in public. Public Wi-Fi carries risks because the security of these networks in coffee shops, shopping malls, airport, hotels, restaurants, and so on. It often lacks or unexistent. The lack of security means that cyber criminals and identity Thieves can monitor what you are doing online and steal your passwords and some personal information. Other public Wi-Fi packet sniffing. Attackers monitors and intercept unencrypted data as it travels across a protected network. Man-in-middle attack. Attack compromise a Wi-Fi hotspot to insert themselves into communication between the victim and the host. Rogue Wi-Fi network. Attackers set up honeypot in the form of free Wi-Fi to harvest valuable data. So now we will see some the aspects of internet security. So aspects of internet security are divided into types like privacy, integrity, authentication, non-repudiation. So we will discuss these in details. So first is scarcity. The standard case quoted above of keeping certain security from some user happens in most organizations. This can be easily handled by giving password protection to themselves. This way, if a particular file is to be seen only in a creator, he or she can protect the file. So this is the scarcity. Similarly, if it is usually possible to give a file to level of protection against anyone. So this is a simple kind of scarcity protection. For more elaborated security, the file could be encrypted and the encryption key is given only to authorized person. Several encryption programs are available in market. Anyone could any one of them could be utilized to perform encryption in files. Next is integrity control. Integrity control are integral part of an applications. It helping to enforce an organization data integrity codes. They can be used to prevent semantic users error, to protect against unauthorized changes in software code, to help prevention vulnerabilities, and to stop malicious code from entering a system. The simple way to do this is by ensuring that the files are read-only files and the permission to write it password protected. There may be an alternative method also to this. However, an interesting case may occur if the user is not permitted to download any of this content. The third aspects of internet security is authentication. Authentication is a process of determining whether someone or something is in fact who or what it says. Authentication technology provides access to control for system by checking to see if a user's credential matches the credentials in the database. Authentications may be a very important issue in certain cases. For example, a bank manager being asked by a person to transfer funds from his account to another account must have some authentication in the normal course. The account holder would send a signed letter or a signed document to a bank if the request is transmitted electronically. However, then the issue of authentication becomes important. In networks, the process of identification may consist of verifying the person communicating with someone on the network is really the person claiming to be who or she is. In other words, it is really McCoy and some problem. Cryptography. So the cryptography aspect in this is the art of devising code and scripts, while cryptanalyzing in the art of breaking keepers. Cryptography is a combination of both of these. In the literature of cryptography, information to be encrypted is known as a plain text, and the parameter for encryption function is called a key. Before the modern era, cryptography was considered only with keeping messages confidential, particularly in transit. So in order to do this, the message would be converted from plain English to some form of gibberish using some predominant keys and would be reconverted into plain English using a same pre-key. So we can see like this plain text is converted into KP text using encryption, then this and again it can be converted into plain text by description. So these things are used during the Second World War. The American Army widely used to transmit messages in some pre-organized American Indian tongues about which the Japanese had no clue. The fifth aspect is VPN, Virtual Private Network. So virtual private networks are the current buzzwords amongst the network owners and administrators. With the use of the internet increasing rapidly, many users and organizing tends to use these their networks to connect them with an internet. Since the internal network may have sensitive files, they may be for internal use only. There is an increased concern about the security of such files. The moment the internal network becomes part of the internet, even if that is a small period to try to overcome this problem, VPN has to be introduced. This is done by creating a secure pipeline between a network and an appropriate internet service provider, with the going into the technical issue involved. VPN are succeed in keeping the network file securely if the value of secret data to Interpol is less than the cost of an effort of accessing the file and extracting the data. The chances are very little that the data is in the secret files will be accessed and read. VPN becomes proven for a long-term use. It is a best not to keep such data on an internal network while at the same time connecting it with the network. So these are some ways. Let us see some ways to protect your system from internet threat. Now, first, installing an antivirus and keeping it updated. We should use antivirus, which help in from getting affected from malwares. Exploring the security tools. We should check if there is a security tools in our devices. For example, as smartphones almost certainly includes an option to find it if it is lost, etc., etc. Use unique password or every login. We should change the passwords frequently, and we should have a strong and unique passwords. Get a VPN. VPN is very must. So, like if we are in a public Wi-Fi's, we should use the VPN. A VPN encrypt your internet traffic, routing it to a server owned by the VPN company. Use two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication can be a pain, but it is absolutely makes your account more secure, like your Gmail, etc. Using passcodes. Passcodes are also very useful. Like many smartphones, we have four-digit PIN, which protect us from other person to access our phone. Pay with your smartphone. Use smartphones payment methods rather than using some outdated apps. Use different email address for different kinds of account. People who are both highly organized and methodical about the security often use different emails for different purpose, like for online identities are sorted with separately. Clear your cache. We should always clear our cookies data so that no one can access it again. Turn off the save password feature. We should always turn off the save password feature so that the other person cannot access my password. Think about this when you're installing a third party password manager. So with this, I would like to conclude the PPT. Thank you.